Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. And, of course, welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea. God, there's a lot. Giving you my opinion on it for whatever that's worth, asking for yours, which is more important. Oh, Ben Jacobs giving an update on Frenkie De Jong. Chelsea's redevelopment at Stamford Bridge already. Updates from Fabrizio Romano and managing Barca, citing Gerard Romero. Or Romero. Drop a like, that's nice of you. Very kind, thank you, mate. Let's see if we can go over 3,000. You can help me achieve that. You're welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, baby girl, hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. This video is brought to you by SPITCH. Fantasy football this season is among us, and fantasy football is all over the gaff. And I know you probably play FPL, but you should check out SPITCH, because SPITCH utilizes an Opta engine, and you don't have to commit to the whole season. You can just dip in and out when you want. It's free, although you can wager money on it, so it's 18 plus only. You can win money in a free season mode here, up to 2,550 grand down here, mate, if you do put a bit of peas on it. If you want to show your FPL managing muscle, check out SPITCH now, man. Click the link in the top of the description and just check it out. See what you think, baby girl. Let's move on. Back in the studio. Let's start off with what's going on with Stamford Bridge. I'm using CFCPIYS on Twitter to aggregate this news from the Telegraph. Stamford Bridge. Of course, when Todd, Boehly and Clearlake took over the ownership of Chelsea Football Club, they had to pledge a plan to redeveloping Stamford Bridge, putting a lot of money in. And although they're not knocking it down and rebuilding it right now, it will be redeveloped stand by stand. But they are doing things, and this is exciting and important. Listen, Todd Boehly is planning renovations to the West Stand, the big old West Stand of Stamford Bridge, and new murals with the fans' favourite chants, making it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and exciting. There are further plans for changes around Fulham Broadway. I mean, Fulham Broadway is a pretty nice place to walk down as it is, but make it more high-octane, exciting Chelsea vibes. Why not? The road down the south of the ground and the only access point to Stamford Bridge. There will be vertical banners adorned with the images of each of the full set of trophies won by the club over its history. And by the way, that is every single Chelsea, every single trophy that is available is won. Yes, whatever the Europa Conference, but that's, just recently been made up. So yes, this is what we need to celebrate. The club's megastore will get a full new LED screen in front of you. They're basically like tarting it up a little bit, Stamford Bridge. The West Stand will look better. There is intentions from Chelsea to do serious redevelopment of Stamford Bridge. Bigger capacity, more shiny, better fan experience, more conducive to better atmosphere, which makes the team play better. Exciting times are coming, but we knew this was coming because this was part of the contract, baby, when they bought Chelsea Football Club. Let's move on to transfers and ting. Fabrizio Romano tweeting this. Chelsea are working on many different deals. Talks with intermediaries on Wesley Fofana deal after 2 bids rejected. So on that quickly, the publicized or reported numbers sound like they've been inflated if you listen to more reputable people talking from The Athletic. Like, we heard that a £70 million bid was rejected as the second bid. Apparently that was closer to 60 million, and perhaps the public fees have been inflated a little bit. Chelsea are serious. Many people are assuming the Wesley Fofana deal will happen because there's seemingly a deal to be done. It's what Matt Law said on the London is Blue podcast. It's what other reputable journalists are saying. They are saying, look, sure, Brendan in public said he's not for sale. He said the same about Chilwell, but they're not categorically turning Chelsea away, which means they will do a deal on their terms, but a deal is there to be done. And by all accounts, Chelsea want to do this deal. I think the main thing from Chelsea's perspective and position is not to put a world record fee, not more than Harry Maguire. They don't want to put that on the kid and don't want to put that in at the headlines. Chelsea will, Fofana will be amazing. I'm pretty certain about it. I love him. I love him. I've maintained that for a long time. But we will overpay for him. In the same way we overpaid for Marc Cucurella, who, by the way, is an excellent player and makes us better. We overpaid. We're overpaying. We're overpaying, but that's okay, because like I said, and something I've maintained recently on recent videos, is this is what Todd Boehly is known for, coming in, taking some financial L's early doors when he does a club takeover to secure a better future and build a better structure. So we'll see what happens on Wesley Fofana. Of course, that's a really interesting blockbuster story that we're going to watch closely here on the channel, so make sure you turn on the sweet bell when you subscribe so you don't miss a beat with that. Let's move on this tweet from Fabrizio Romano. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang discussed as an option since last week, but as of yet there's been no proposal from Barca. We'll speak more about that in just a moment, and we're going to get the Ben Jacobs update on Frenkie De Jong. Just to finish on what Fabrizio Romano is saying here though, he said new bid expected soon for Inter's 2003 born talent Cesar Casadei, I think it's pronounced Casadei, who's a 19-year-old midfielder. Another midfielder. Chelsea are going, after we've got Chukwuemeka's an 18-year-old midfielder building for the future, Chelsea are being clever in terms of how they're building homegrown talents. There's new rules about if you get English youngsters in terms of squad allowances and loan rules. Chelsea are navigating that intelligently. Yes, we've got 1 million young midfielders. This could be a player that we go. 19-year-old will he go straight on loan? You can't keep throwing teenagers into the midfield when we've relied on senior midfielders to do the job. Maybe we're doing what Real Madrid have done with Tchouaméni and Camavinga in terms of replacing the old boys. They're going to play the old boys, the youngsters are going to learn under them, and then there's going to be a passing of the baton, etc., etc., etc. Let's move on. So I'm going to cite a Twitter account at Managing Barca, who is an aggregating page for Barcelona related stories. First off, Barcelona preferred to keep Aubameyang over Memphis Depay, reported by Roger Torello. This is interesting because Aubameyang's like the better, I suppose, centre forward. Memphis Depay's always been a little bit of an auxiliary forward. Memphis Depay might represent more money in terms of what they can get because he's younger, he's still in his 20s, where of course Aubameyang's like 32 or something, or 30, maybe even 33. He's older, so they'll probably want to maximize the gains from the sale of Memphis Depay while probably keeping the better striker. But they'll have two old men as strikers in Robert Lewandowski and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But I'm sure if they can't keep both, and if they're only able to sell one, and if that is Aubameyang, maybe he'll come to Chelsea in that instance. This page is citing Fabrizio Romano next, saying both Thomas Tuchel and Todd Boehly are in love. Not with each other. The sentence goes on. In love with Frenkie De Jong. Tuchel and Boehly are in love with Frenkie De Jong. How much does Boehly know about soccer as things stand? Enough to be in love with Frenkie De Jong? Or is this literally he's romantically in love with Frenkie De Jong? He likes the swept blonde hair, his sort of dainty features, and he's like, I love you. And he might leave his family and try and have a romantic relationship with Frenkie De Jong. I probably don't think that's the case. Thomas Tuchel may well be in love with him as a midfielder in footballing terms, but Fabrizio Romano suggesting that they're in love with him, going on to saying Chelsea are ready to pay what FC Barcelona want for Frenkie De Jong. What they want. Frenkie De Jong loves Barcelona though. Chelsea love him. And Manchester United are dreaming. Lol, but it's complicated. He knows it's time to make his final decision, which, by the way, is reportedly could be today. Frenkie de Jong's salary next season will be 22 million. FC Barcelona have told him to either reduce it by 50%. I know Ousmane Dembele took a 40% cut, but they're saying 50% or leave. There's no way he stays without a reduction, coming from Sport in Spain. Pause. What do you mean there's no way he stays without a reduction? He's under frigging contract. There's no way we all honour this contract. This legally binding contract, or apparently illegal, allegedly. Sounds to me that's just like leverage, mate. Let's see what Ben Jacobs is saying. Let's move on to Ben Jacobs' update on Frenkie De Jong. Very reliable reporter at Jacobs Ben on Twitter, who is obviously a great resource throughout the Chelsea takeover, and seemingly has continued his good reporting. Tier 1, I suppose? I mean, he did say Koundé was done, but so did everyone. He says this: Barcelona have reiterated to Frenkie De Jong he must take a 50% pay cut or leave. They expect the decision imminently. They want it today. Today. Threat of legal action against current deal hasn't moved any further yet. As reported, Chelsea are optimistic of a €80 million plus deal, but they of course are waiting for the Frenkie De Jong decision. Before we read on in the rest of the thread, yes, Chelsea have maintained we'll want the player, we'll do this deal, but we want the player to want us. We're not going to be there, shame you've got to come here, mate. Do you know what I mean? Shame you've got to come here. They need to be like, look, do you want to join this project? Can you buy into this project? Can you buy into this vision? Can you see yourself in Southwest London, mate? You know, all that. And if you can, we'll make the bid. Do you know what I mean? There's no threat of legal action yet because I still think that might be an empty threat, although apparently it isn't. It sounds like leverage to me. Let's read on to the next part of the thread. Barca are billing this as a straight choice between Frenkie De Jong taking a pay cut or leaving. Although Joan Laporta, of course head honcho over there, said, quote, he'll respect Frenkie De Jong's current deal, which obviously goes against what they're saying. Barca maintain they're prepared to challenge it in court. So respecting a deal, says Laporta, while the club itself are prepared to challenge it in court. Make your bloody minds up, mate. What are you doing over there? It's a friggin' circus in every sense. Sources say legal action is, quote, a last resort. But that is more than an empty threat. So I still feel like it seems like an empty threat. It's come out of nowhere when they need this leverage. Yeah, I think it just sounds like scaremongering to me, but, you know, what do I know? Do you know what I mean? Finally, Chelsea are pushing on the player side. They don't want to drag this out. I mean, it's already been dragged out. Barcelona are on the same page. It's clear Frenkie De Jong would love to somehow stay. And, you know, good on him. He made this is his dream move. As he has said consistently, by the way. But without a pay cut, he doesn't want to take a pay cut. And he's still reluctant. A move away remains more likely. So I guess that's the sort of mic drop final sentence. A move away is more likely than him staying. But we said that about Ousmane Dembele, and then he took a 40% pay cut. But on Frenkie De Jong's wages, which are, you know, big old wages, probably too much, because that's what Barcelona have done. They've had the biggest wage bill in the top 5 leagues in Europe, and it's 33% more than second place. And second place is Manchester United. And we know with the Premier League money, and we know how Manchester United hella overpay for players and just have like massive, like, you know, bench warmers on massive wages. They've always done that, United, because they make so much revenue and they're just not run very well. But to be in second place to Barcelona, you know, Real Madrid probably like third or fourth, whatever, to be second place to Barcelona, but have them 33% more, it's just mind-blowing. So Frenkie De Jong will be on too much money. So, yes, you know, whatever, but like a 50% of too much is a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, the amount of money they'll be asking him to go without will be like profound. Do you know what I mean? Like what, like 11 million a year? Like, yes, footballers get paid too much. Yes, they'll always have enough money. But when you're in that state of mind, like money breeds greed, more money, they're asking him to forego like so much money, man. Like, it's just absolutely insane. I don't know if, well, I don't really have any insight. So for Ben Jacobs here to say a move away remains more likely, and a move away would only represent a transfer to Chelsea Football Club. That's the only thing that will go down. He's not going to United. It would have to be Chelsea. So what Ben Jacobs is saying is he's more likely to come to Chelsea than to stay at Barcelona, and they are the two options. I am reluctant to believe that. And that may be on the premise of how we've been stung recently a couple times. And I don't necessarily mean like Koundé. I probably mean more Rafinha. And I probably mean more Ousmane Dembele. How close that deal or how realistic that deal was, I don't know. But do you know what I mean in terms of getting your hopes up and thinking, wow, this is a situation. We'll see what happens. Aubameyang could still come to Chelsea. Frenkie De Jong could still come to Chelsea. Wesley Fofana could still come to Chelsea. We've got like 20 days of the transfer window left. Lots could happen. Conversations have already started. Dialogues open. Negotiations are open. What do you think, man? Like, do you know what I mean? This is wild. Comment down below. I want all your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this. I love reading the comments. Thank you for dropping a like. Let's see if we can go over 3,000 if you want to show support of the content. That's how you can do it. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the sweet, sweet bell, baby. Yeah, man. And go check out SPITCH. Link in the description. Oh, yeah. Peace.